Well, welcome to A World in London at Resonance FM, your definitive global music show made in London for the planet. Weekly every Wednesday from 6:30 here on 104.4. I'm DJRitu with you over the next hour, hoping that we can find some healing at least for our troubled world through the gift of music. Today, assisting us will be eminent guitarist, composer, and much more. It's Branco Stoysin, who returns to our studio and your airwaves tonight. As well, a light opening to your interview with us. Branco, great to have you back at A World in London. What a crystal clear recording you have there.
Yeah, that's from my debut album, Something Between the Sea and the Sky. I released back in 1997, I believe. That's where it all started.
That's an eternity ago, isn't it?
Yeah.
1997.
Yeah.
And, okay, the piece that we listened to was called Disquietude.
Yes.
Tell me about the title.
I believe this is correct word because I consider this tune we just heard like first serious tune that I written and notated when I was in my early teens, really. But it took a long time until it was really recorded. And it started, all that creation always started with kind of itch. You know, that anxiety and itch and kind of, I don't know what to do now. I'd like to play guitar and then something comes. So that's why I call it Disquietude.
Oh, it absolutely kick-started your career, basically. I'm going to just go back to the way you actually recorded that piece. As I say, the recording is completely crystal clear. Where did you make the recording?
My little studio I have at home.
Not a professional recording studio, in your bedroom, basically.
Well, it's a bedroom which has walls that I made. So there's no air in it, so you can only do about half an hour, and then you have to run out because it's so busy road. You know, it's a South Circular, so I had to make like a cupboard to insulate it.
And did you in this cavern or a man cave?
Tom,
sound insulated man cave. Did you record the track in one take?
Well, it's over the two guitars. So one rhythm is one take, and then solo is another.
But all in all, it was two tracks put together.
Yeah.
None of this kind of, let's do a bit here and loop a bit there and add it on there
No. Well, it's done an old-fashioned reel-to-reel machine as well.
Now, what was that reel-to-reel machine? Was it a Philips or a Studer?
Fostex.
It was a Fostex. A Fostex quarter-inch.
Oh, I loved it.
They were beautiful machines, weren't they? When I was at the Beeb, we had to cut and splice quarter-inch tape all the time to formulate our interviews and have them ready to go on air. And we became absolute masters at it. With like a razor blade in one side of our mouth,
and
ready to cut. Blood on the other side, and that tape, splicing tape or whatever it was called. I've forgotten what it was called, but it
does have warm sound. And I haven't heard this album for maybe more than 10 years. This track, and I realized how warm sound it has.
Beautifully warm sound, which sums you up perfectly given that your inspiration is the sun.
Yeah, it is. Mostly.
It is mostly. So, Something Between the Sea and the Sky. That was the name of that album, 1997. So, you mentioned the South Circular. I'm presuming it was made in London.
Yeah. I recorded back at home on my first 4-track Porto studio.
Was that a Fostex as well?
No, it was a little Tascam that I brought from Munich. in a rucksack, and they confiscated on a Slovenian border, saying that I'm a horrible musician with long hair and I'm going to make a lot of money. So they took it.
Really?
So it took me 2 months to get it back, believe it or not.
But all musicians were carrying around little Tascam 4 tracks at that point.
Well, yeah, you couldn't buy it in Yugoslavia, in ex-Yugoslavia, this kind of stuff. So you had to bring from abroad.
Yeah.
So they just said, what you have in rucksack? I said, well, a little mixer, and they saw it and they took it away.
That must have really hurt.
That was one of the first obstacles.
Yes, yeah. I'll bet our sound engineer George is upstairs listening to all of this with interest and kind of thinking, why? Yes, so why didn't you just go digital, mate? But of course, we didn't have digital back then, did we?
Oh, these kids today, they have no idea.
Well, actually, back in the 1997, we had Cubase, and we had.
Oh no, this little first 4 track I bought. 90
earlier, yeah. But when you made the
80s,
album,
even 80s, yeah, 80s actually.
But when you made the album, Something Between the Sea and the Sky, and you recorded that onto 1/4-inch reel-to-reel tape, we did have Cubase at that point, didn't we? And Atari.
Yes, yeah, they were starting
sound modules and all of that kind of thing. So Digitech was around, but it was very expensive.
Yeah,
it was expensive to buy those components at that point. How would you describe your musical outlook then, Branco?
Music outlook? What do you mean by outlook?
I guess, how would you describe your sound? Or can you even describe your sound?
I'd rather leave this to listeners, but if I have to, I believe it's original, because I know this will sound maybe mad, but I don't really listen to music. I used to when I was younger, but now I don't listen to anything really.
Why is that? Is the interest not there, or you don't want to be influenced by anything?
Well, inevitably, if you listen to a lot of different players, especially if you listen guitarists are mad to listen to other guitarists, you're gonna get influenced. So I do listen to classical music, but not as often as I used to.
But what are the reasons for you not listening?
Because I hear so many stuff. I mean, I'm always writing and preparing new albums and all this. So I have so much music in my head, and also had to do a lot of teaching, so preparing that as well. So it's just no time. Music
kind of becomes a little bit like work, doesn't it? It can for those of us in our profession, I think.
Yeah, I suppose so. But it's not that kind of work. Oh, God, I have to go now to the office.
Yeah, it's not unpleasant, is it? But it's that thing of just kind of needing a break or needing to have a break for your ears.
I'd rather listen to the birds.
Yes, the sounds of nature. I find that when people come to my house, they'll often say, how come you haven't got any music on in the background?
Yeah.
And I'll be saying, well, I really don't want any music on in the
You're
background.
always around it, isn't it?
Always around it, in a very blessed and pleasant way, of course, most of the time. But boy, it's nice to have silence sometimes as well. Well, let's hear another one of your pieces of music then. We're going to hear something from Lily of the Valley.
Yes.
When did you actually compose that particular album?
I think it was I'm really terrible with dates. I don't even know my own birthday or my mom's birthday. I think it says on the album. I think it's 2005. It's been released.
Yeah, 2005. You got that right.
So around that time, all these tunes came.
Okay, so we're going to listen to Exodus, which is the first track off the album. I just noted here that your label is called Sun Recordings.
Yes.
Sun Recordings. Branco.
It's not Elvis Presley.
No. No, Branco Stoysin instead on A World in London. it's really hard to pick out the style that in that particular piece, Branco.
Yeah, it's a very irregular time signature, very characteristic for Serbia and Balkans. Mixture of 7/8, 5/8, 9/8.
I mean, that's the thing. It's quite
irregular.
hard to locate it geographically because it's also got a slightly Spanish feel to it as well. And I don't know if that's because of the irregular time signature.
The Spanish music is irregular? I don't know.
Yeah.
Probably does.
Practically all the music that's made outside of England and America has got a complex time beat cycle or time signature going on. So that particular piece was called Exodus. Tell me what the piece was about for you when you composed it.
Well, it was inspired by me having to leave my homeland and all the other people that had to leave it, and also by great exodus of Slavs from Carpathians area to Balkans. And it's very and it never ends, is it? Today, when we look around, it's exodus everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's kind of
feels very topical, doesn't it, at the moment?
Yeah,
Can you just tell us a little bit more about your homeland? I know that we talked about this last time you were here, but that was over a year ago. Yeah. So we could do with a reminder, I think. Your actual homeland. Where were you born?
I was born in Novi Sad, Yugoslavia, Republic of Serbia. Mm-hmm. And I lived there for a long time. Part of my life, almost half, well, more than half.
Into your teens, into your 20s even?
30.
30, into your 30s, so as a young man.
Yeah.
What was Novi Sad like as a place to live in?
It was a very nice town, but it's sunny there, so even here everything looks nice when it's sunny. You can't beat that. So. Now, I have nice memories of it.
When people think about Serbia, I don't think people associate it with sun.
No.
I think we're more likely to associate Serbia with
war and all the negative stuff.
Well, actually, I was going to say with snow, because
I don't think they have snow
Serbia,
anymore.
Slavic, and then somehow that becomes connected to Russia, the Balkan states. I don't know. That's what goes on in my head anyway. So where exactly is Novi Sad, if we're talking?
It's south. So it's more. It's southeastern Europe, I would call it.
Are we talking kind of towards Croatia, towards Slovenia?
Yeah.
Which is
Slovenia go more northwest and.
Okay, so Slovenia is further north.
Yeah.
And I do know that Slovenia has quite a big connection with Italy.
And Austria, they have a lot of snow.
But the Italians don't. Well,
North Italy does.
North they do, but not the south. No.
I suppose not.
Right, so let's go back to Novi Sad.
I'm not sure about the climate.
Yeah, Novi Sad. So, so what were you doing in Novi Sad as you grew up, where you were happy and where there was a lot of sunshine?
Well, I lived there very short, I'm afraid, about 5 years, and then when my parents divorced, I lived with my mom and stepdad in the village, which is funnily called Frog Town. That's why I grew up in a very small village. Frog Town, yeah.
Frog Town.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Frogs.
Yeah.
That's where I grew up.
So, excuse me, I was just going to correct your frog impersonation.
That was more like a duck.
Ribbit.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, ribbit.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Now we've got that out of the way.
But I went back there, my teens, to school, Novi Sad back, and then some study, which I left, and then work, and then I moved there again before I came here.
And then at which point did the guitar fall into your lap?
At the age of 15. It was just all of a sudden, really. I nagged my parents to buy me, and they did.
And you took to it like a frog to water?
Yes. But then they had to lock it in the cupboard after 6 months because I didn't do any study in school.
You really took to it. You fell in love with that guitar. Then what were the first types of music that you also fell in love with? Or did you just go and have lessons? Or?
Oh, no, never lessons. I'm entirely self-taught. Well, in them the days, especially in the little village I grew up, there was no record shops or anything really. No, so the radio was listening to the radio, searching for the tunes.
And what was on the radio in Novi Sad?
Well, I heard kind of Django Reinhardt and Bossa Nova, but I didn't know. I know now what is it, but then I didn't know, but I liked it.
Huh.
I did play rock, of course, a little bit, but I prefer the other sounds.
Yeah. And then how long was it before you composed your own piece of music?
About 18, I think. This was the first track we heard, Disquieted. I have some scribbles. I think they're at home. I don't have it here. I would probably laugh if I saw those notations now. But about 18.
So
that's where it started.
So you did learn to read music?
No.
Your notations are not proper notations?
Yeah, they are.
They are?
I can notate and read, but I wouldn't say I can notate and read music.
You are a man of contradictions, Branco Stoysin. Okay, you all right. And all right, so
I did publish two music books though.
So for a man who never took a lesson in his life and can't supposedly read or write music, you have written books and you have composed, and there is some kind of weird form of notation going on.
No, it's standard notation. But I always ask people in my book on the front, in the foreword, to excuse me if it's not quotation mark properly done.
Stunning piece of music there, composed and played by our guest today on A World in London, Branco Stoysin. We're over at Resonance 104.4 FM. Branco, that is such a beautiful piece of music. Aurora Tesla. Before you tell me about the title and what the piece is about, technically, you were using harmonics?
Lots of harmonics and I don't know how many guitars. I think it's 4 guitars overdubbed. It was an absolute nightmare to do it. 4 guitars.
Yeah.
It was really difficult. Maybe it looks. I know it sounds easy on the ear, but it was very difficult.
So it's a very, very intricate piece indeed. Then, if you, because you are the ultimate one-take wonder, really.
Yeah, well, I don't have computer when I record, so I can't do edits and all that stuff.
Even now, you don't. That's not how you work.
No, I do have digital thing, standalone unit, but you can't really do that stuff. No. I'd rather not. I'd rather play it until it's right.
Yeah. Which, it's very organic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you're still working with a reel-to-reel recorder?
No, but I still have it at home, and I do miss it.
That Fostix is still there in the corner.
The thing is, I would never switch to digital. But the thing is, there's no parts. There's no way to service them. So, if you get stuck in the middle,
there must be someone somewhere in the whole of the UK that has to.
Charging £1,000.
Well, it's a profession you will have to take up yourself. Let's come back to the track, Aurora Tesla. What on earth is that about as a title?
Well, it's tune dedicated as a whole album. The title alone is dedicated to Nikola Tesla. Serbian.
Who is Nikola Tesla?
Serbian-born genius of electricity who granted us all the rolling world around us, but unfortunately still not known.
Yeah, does he get acknowledged for what he hang on. Nikola Tesla invented electricity.
Yeah.
And he was a Serbian guy.
Yeah.
And we
emigrated to America.
and we don't know his name.
No, especially not here, no.
Hmm.
It's not taught in schools. And it's this book I just released, published with all notated music from the CD, is celebrating 160th anniversary, birthday of him, which is on the 10th of July. So I would ask folks on the 10th of July to stop for a second, put one hand in their pocket and thank the man for the civilized life they enjoy.
Yeah, and imagine a world without electricity.
No, but that's the thing. People really can't imagine it.
No.
We just can't.
We take it for granted.
Yeah, the mostly taken for granted. Because
well, certainly in the Western world, we take it for granted. I mean,
because it's stable.
Yeah.
Supply is endless.
I mean, the Nepalese band that I had on recently, Night. They're from Kathmandu, and one of the things they said that they loved most about performing here was that the electricity didn't go on and off.
Yes.
Now, so we take it for granted, but yes, in certain parts of the world, perhaps people don't, but still, people don't know his name, Nikola Tesla. And you know what? I'll bet there was a great woman behind him.
No.
Behind every great man, there's a woman.
Not behind him, I'm afraid. No.
Okay, he was dedicated to what he was doing.
Yeah, it is a shame this because I've been facing a lot of difficulties, trying to promote this book, because I approached hundreds of venues to make the launch. I got almost zero response.
The name of the book is?
Alone, same as the title.
Same as the title of the CD and the track that we from the track from the CD that we've just heard, Alone. What you were also very excited about the name of the station here, aren't you?
Yeah,
Resonance
yes.
FM. What is it that excites you? I mean, well, we should all be excited by Resonance FM, of course.
Yeah.
But what particularly engages you?
Because Tesla, when he invented his coils, which are now known as Tesla coils, he experimented that when they are tuned and they're to resonate, that's the word, in the same frequency, that's how he invented the radio, which is, again, people think is somebody else. I won't mention the guy who's stolen his patent because he doesn't deserve to be mentioned. Everybody knows that guy name, but actually Tesla invented the radio. And he realized that when they resonate at the same frequency, you can send a very powerful radio signal. That's how it came to it. So it's a resonance.
Now you've been looking up the word resonance, and
today. It's so many good meanings.
Surprisingly, run me through some of the meanings, because again, I think we take the word resonance for granted.
Because something like a vocal resonance in your throat, or sound that resonates, or vibration. There are lots of good meanings in it.
We now talk about
guitar resonance.
Well, guitar resonance we've always done, but I think resonating in a conversation or with an opinion.
The opinion,
because I mean, I think it's only in the last few years I've heard people talking about. I really resonated with what he said.
Yeah, it's a lovely word.
It's a beautiful word.
Appropriate title for radio station. Hey.
Composed and performed by Branco Stoysin, our guest today on A World in London, with myself, DJRitu. What was the meaning behind that particular piece, the title? Behind the clouds, there's the sun, because it feels like we need that thought right now.
Yeah. Well, it says everything, I suppose, the title and the music.
And you'd agree that we need the sun behind the clouds? Absolutely, at the moment.
But it's always there. You just need to find it, even if you can't see it.
That's what I needed
to hear.
And
you cannot deny it, that it's there.
That's exactly what we need to hear. That it is always there. It hasn't really gone away, and it will be back. And we need to find it.
And then don't go in shades when it's out.
Yeah, definitely. No point doing that. In the wake of Brexit and everything that has happened over the last week, of course Istanbul as well yesterday, which is a slightly separate event, as it were. Do you feel that there's anything that we can learn here from what you experienced with the breakup of Yugoslavia?
Well, it was a very hurtful thing for me. It was one of the hardest thing. I had to make decision, should I leave or not? And it's absolutely heartbreaking.
And it was so recent as well. We're talking the 90s, early 90s.
Early 90s,
And with what's happening here at the moment, where we have this constitutional crisis and
I know, it's amazing.
Parties that don't seem to be parties anymore.
This is what I don't understand.
Parties.
All these parties, how many we have? 10 that we know of. They all say same thing. We want best for this country, and they're all fighting against each other. I mean, I never could understand this. No back at home, not here.
So before Yugoslavia dissected itself, between 91 and 94, 92?
Yeah, early 90s it all started, late 80s.
I mean, there were splits already, right? Or did it feel like it was a good union at that point?
Well, it was great life there. I mean, nobody can deny that. I mean, I had an absolutely beautiful childhood and teenage and adulthood. You know, I can't say anything negative really. There was no crime. There was just nothing.
But were there divisions in place already between?
Well, after
Serbs,
Tito
Croats,
died, that's where it started.
After General Tito passed away.
That's all started to go down.
So when you see what's going on here at the moment with Scotland thinking about leaving the UK, Wales thinking about leaving the UK,
there was nothing left.
Australia thinking about leaving the Commonwealth, Ireland, of course, whatever's going to happen there. What can we learn from what happened in Yugoslavia?
It's just not good. I mean, we live on one planet which is round, and you cannot run from it. So, I mean, funny when you mentioned this subject. This third album that I released, it's called "Heart Is the Bridge," and you have it in studio, the cover. And the cover, I'm actually going to put that cover on my Facebook because the cover is the planet, and it shows all bridges between the continents. Now I'm going to put it on the Facebook and cut all those bridges away. People think.
Do you think
it saddens me really.
We take this for granted?
Yeah, but the thing is, when it's gone, there's no return. And then what are we going to do? Do we really have to hit the bottom to realize that it's gone really bad, and then what are we gonna do?
a perfect song, or, well, it's not a song, is it? Because you're not singing, but
No.
a perfect piece of
Well,
music.
guitar sings.
Yeah, that's true. That is true, BrancoStoysin. But a perfect title and a perfect piece called Heart is the Bridge.
Yeah.
So apt for the times that we're going through at the moment, and everything that you've told us, the advice you were giving us about what happened in Yugoslavia. If only we can heed this advice here. I mean, we're a tiny little country, really, aren't we? And
Microscopic.
Microscopic. How many countries in Europe?
I really don't know. Does anybody know? 20, 30? I mean, I always say to people, if we take scissors and we take the atlas and we cut the whole Europe without Russia, I mean, Russia is massive, but if you cut these, Europe and England with it, and you put it in Canada, there are bigger lakes than that whole Europe, and we all want to get divided.
What is the point?
Turning backs to each other. I don't get it. I really don't.
So what actually, when did you come to London?
1992.
1992. You released your first album.
97. It took a long time.
5 years after that. Well, you would have taken your time to get settled.
To get money for
to get money.
The gear.
But to buy more reel-to-reel recorders and another 4-track Tascam, and but I think also just to acclimatise to being in London after being in Serbia and being in Novi Sad and
well,
coming
Novi
away
Sad
from.
is big city, so I'm kind of city boy. So that wasn't that big trouble.
It wasn't too much of a change.
The weather was a bit hard.
Well, especially with you, as the sun is your inspiration. So slight lack of it over here. But as you say, it's always there. We've just got to find it.
Yeah.
Tell me about the other projects that you've got coming up later on this year.
Well, I have a lovely concert coming. One of those promoters, kudos to them. I'm going to promote this new book and everything in Dillington Classical Guitar Festival in Somerset, run by Peter Rufa, on the 4th of August. He'll join me on a couple of tracks, and what's very nice, I'm going to play with a whole classical orchestra, 40 guitars.
Oh my God.
Tuned so lovely.
That's going to be so amazing, isn't it?
It's written for 8 guitars, so let's see what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's going to be absolutely perfect. And something in Canada you mentioned as well.
There is a Nikola Tesla Educational Corporation there, all volunteers, nice guys. They managed to collect funds, donations, and they're going to change one big boulevard in Hamilton to Tesla Boulevard in his honor, and celebrating his 160th birthday, which is a lovely occasion.
So you and them, you're all marking a lot for the inventor of electricity, Nikola Tesla, this year, 160th anniversary of his birth, I believe.
Yes.
Fabulous. Branco, how can we keep in touch with you? What's your website address?
Website would be best. I'm also on Facebook, but not very often there. Website is BrancoStoysin.co.uk, BrancoStoysin.co.uk.
Fabulous. Branco, thank you.
Thank you,
much.
Ritu. Thanks very much.
A big thank you also to Antea Longo, Cultural Corporation, Resonance FM, and you for your company. Take care, be very well, and be a stand for peace. Ciao from me, DJ Ritu.